Chapter 8. No More Suffering.
Here's the bottom line. Suffering is optional. Byron Katie.
You are not meant to suffer. And when you're living as your true self, awareness, you will never suffer. It can be hard to imagine a life without suffering, but most assuredly it can be your life right now.
There is pain in the physical, but suffering is of the mind.
Your higher self does not suffer. Your familiar self can hardly figure out how not to suffer.
Suffering is caused by believing negative thoughts. So suffering is self-imposed.
I discovered that when I believed my thoughts, I suffered, but that when I didn't believe them, I didn't suffer. And that this is true for every human being. Freedom is as simple as that.
Whenever you are suffering, your suffering is contained in a single thought. I don't like this. In other words, we allow a single, flimsy, insubstantial thought to spoil our happiness.
Our mind tends to respond to the circumstances of life with no, 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 while awareness always responds with yes, yes, yes to everything.
Awareness even says yes to no.
Saying no holds what you don't want to you. Saying yes to what you don't want releases your resistance, allowing what you don't want to change. It's counterintuitive, but it's how it works. When you say, no, I don't want this, you're resisting. And as you've come to understand, whatever you resist persists.
If you abide in this state of acceptance, you create no more negativity, no more suffering, no more unhappiness. You then live in a state of non-resistance, a state of grace and lightness, free of struggle. Eckhart Tolle.
I am a lover of what is, not because I'm a spiritual person, but because it hurts when I argue with reality.
If you were to altogether let go of resistance this moment, never to start it up again, by that single gesture, you'd liberate yourself from an enormous burden of suffering.
If we don't resist what has happened, there's no conflict, and the energy of the situation passes. Without our resistance to something, it can't stay in our life. On the other hand, if we resist what's happened, we'll hold the situation to us and we'll continue to suffer. The wonderful teacher Sailor Bob Adamson says to just allow experiences to come and go without judging them.
It is only the grasping, the hanging on, or the resisting and pushing away that creates the bind of psychological suffering.
Most people go to their graves believing suffering is unavoidable. How sad that is. If you turn from the possibility that it could be otherwise, you will suffer needlessly until the day you die. But here is something. The end of suffering would be the least of the benefits if you became free. The real miracle is not the profound undoing of anguish, but the riches that would flood the freed up space.
An instant end to suffering.
What I'm about to share with you may not be the easiest thing to grasp, but if you can get it, it will take you out of suffering immediately. Our mind makes it feel like we are the one who is suffering. And of course, if we unquestioningly believe our mind, our suffering is immense. But the truth is that you are the one that is aware of the suffering rather than the one suffering. The one who is suffering is the idea you have of yourself that you've believed, but it is not who you really are.
The end of suffering happens when you recognize that there's no one to suffer.
My teacher would say to ask yourself this question: am I the one suffering, or am I the one that is aware of the suffering? If we can stop believing the mind's suggestion that we're the ones suffering, the suffering will end immediately.
Once the nature of the mind is understood, suffering can't exist.
Awareness opens the door, dissolves all the beliefs and opinions and ideas that are in the way of and covering up your natural state of happiness.
It's no wonder that when the machinery of suffering has fallen apart and the mind has grown quiet, the feeling is that you've come home. Home has found you, which is often the impression, since you hadn't necessarily been trying to find your way there, not consciously anyhow. Or maybe you had been, but now you see you'd been looking in the wrong places.
There is one belief in particular that's the root cause of all the suffering in the world. It's the belief that we're a separate person. With thought, your mind convinces you that you are just a person and that you are vulnerable to an entire world of things that could go wrong. If you believe the mind's story of separateness, you will be completely under the control of your mind. Your mind will send a constant feed of fearful thoughts that you are vulnerable, bad things can happen to you, and that you and your life are limited. Sadly, this will become your life if you believe it to be true. But the truth is the very opposite of this. We are not separate. There is the appearance that we're a separate person, and we're having the experience of being a separate person. But for a magnificent life filled with lasting happiness, stay aware of the truth that you are infinite, eternal, consciousness awareness, and that there is only one of us.
The end of problems.
We believe we have a problem when something has gone differently from what we expected it to, or when we feel something has gone wrong. Our mind's immediate response to a problem is, I don't want this.
Problems exist only in the human mind.
Problems are not real. Problems are only imagined. There are no problems. It's impossible. What you are is free of problems. Problems are manufactured, every single one of them.
All problems are based on memory. In this moment, there are no problems.
If there were no human mind, there would be no problems. All problems exist in the human mind. All problems are created by the mind.
The truth is that problems are just another story created by the thoughts of our mind. It's the mind interpreting life by telling a story about something that's happened and turning it into a problem. To experience a problem-free life, instead of believing your mind, use the power of your awareness to become aware of your mind. When you're living more and more as awareness, then you will see clearly that problems are imagined limitations. How can the infinite awareness that you are have a single problem?
It's as if you put your hand in a fire and say, ouch, it's hot, my hand is burning, boy, do I have a problem. And then you put your hand back in the fire and so on until one day you see that you are doing it and you stop. If you have a problem, you're putting your hand into a problem and yelling, it hurts, and acting as though you're not putting your hand in it. You act as though you're not doing it, but you are.
All problems come from the ego. You're free when you don't give validity to any problems.
The difficulty is that when you believe you have a problem, you will most definitely experience having a problem. But if you can be aware that it's really the mind and its thoughts telling another negative story, you allow any supposed problem to dissolve and disappear because your belief is not holding it to you or the world anymore.
Anyone who says, I have trouble, has it in his mind. That is the only place where it is, because you can't see or conceive of anything anywhere else but in your mind. Whatever you look at, whatever you hear, whatever you sense is in and through your mind. That is where everything is.
I'm going to tell you something very powerful. There is not a problem anywhere at any time. There is only a lack of love.
When you don't resist anything, when you accept everything just the way it is, this is love. Where love exists, no problem can exist. It's the reason why no problem can touch who you really are, because you are pure love. It is a love that is so pure our minds can't conceive of it. It is completely welcoming, accepting, all allowing, and totally unattached. It's the kind of love demonstrated by the remarkable enlightened beings like Buddha, Jesus Christ, Lao Tzu, Krishna, and so many more. And this pure love that you are has no problems ever. But from the perspective of a limited person, problems do seem real. Our mind has the opposite reaction to infinite awareness, and it resists and denies the way something is rather than accepting and allowing it.
Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. Lao Tzu.
When there is no emotional investment in trying to force things to be the way we want them, then they are free to move and resolve themselves.
From using the principles of The Secret, I've found that when I'm happy, there are barely any problems in my life. That's because from the place of happiness, problems either don't appear or they're so small that they don't have the ability to disturb my happiness. When I'm happy, problems look like anthills compared to when I've been in despair, and the smallest problem appears to be mountainous. So doesn't it make sense that from the ultimate level of happiness, where we know who we are, there are zero problems?
There's no end to problems in the world. If you try to find the end, you go on and on forever and ever, solving problems in the world, and you will always find more and more. As long as you are conscious of problems, they exist. Only when you discover the real you will you discover an end to problems.
How to be free of problems forever.
You can be free from everything. Do you want to give a problem your attention by changing it, fixing it, or trying to figure it out? Or do you want to be free of it?
When I shared with my teacher what I thought was a big problem, she said the following words to me: "You could not have clearer words than these."
Stop focusing into the problem. Stop wanting it to be more or less. Stop wanting it to go. Stop wanting to change it. Stop wanting to figure it out. Stop wanting to control it. It will naturally collapse when you decide to be awareness. Everything that is not love collapses in the face of love. Everything that is not real collapses in the face of awareness.
As The Secret explained, when we give our attention to something, we energize it. So when we give our attention to a problem, we energize the problem and it gets bigger. Trying to fix a problem, trying to solve it, control it, or eradicate it means we are giving our attention to the problem. When we shift our attention away from the problem disappears because all the energy has been removed from it. It has to collapse. It's like taking the oxygen out of a fire. The fire will go out.
Now, trying to get rid of a problem is holding on to it. Anything we try to get rid of, we're holding in mind and therefore sustaining that problem. So the only way to correct a problem is to let go of it. See not the problem, see only what you want.
And once you have taken your attention off any problem, then you can use your mind to create what you want by focusing your mind and your thoughts on what you do want.
Energy flows where attention goes.
Michael Bernard Beckwith.
We give our attention to what we don't want, expecting that will change it, when the opposite is true. We have to remove our attention to allow a problem to dissolve. I heard somebody once say that problems are like an unwelcome guest. If you don't give a guest any attention, they will leave. Use the power of your awareness to be aware of your mind's negative thoughts and stories, thereby dissolving them, and you will be free of all problems and suffering. It's simply another example of the joy and bliss that is yours when you stay as the awareness that you are.
This is a gently unfolding miracle. Be patient. All your life, you've been doing it the other way, believing yourself to be at the mercy of life. Don't expect the whole thing to undo itself all at once.
Chapter 8, Summary.
You are not meant to suffer. And when you're living as your true self-awareness, you will never suffer. Suffering is caused by believing negative thoughts, so suffering is self-imposed. If we resist what's happened, we'll hold the situation to us and will continue to suffer. Ask yourself this question: am I the one suffering, or am I the one that is aware of the suffering? The truth is that you are the one that is aware of the suffering, rather than the one suffering. There is one belief in particular that's the root cause of all the suffering in the world. It's the belief that we're a separate person. Problems exist only in the human mind. Problems are not real. Problems are only imagined. To experience a problem-free life, instead of believing your mind, use the power of your awareness to become aware of your mind. When we give our attention to a problem, we energize the problem and it gets bigger. When we shift our attention away from the problem disappears because all the energy has been removed from it. Once you have taken your attention off any problem, then you can use your mind to create what you want by focusing your mind and your thoughts on what you want. Use the power of your awareness to be aware of your mind's negative thoughts and stories, thereby dissolving them, and you will be free of all problems and suffering.